Hey guys, this is Rob from ChainsawGuitarTuition.net. Now, I'm probably going to upset a few people with this video. That's not what my intentions are. I've been told over the years, oh, guitar teachers should do this, a good guitar teacher should do this, should do that. And some of these things are correct, some of them just are wrong. And I'm just here to tell you from experience what makes a good teacher and what you should be looking for in a guitar teacher. So, first of all, guitar teachers should be really technical guitarists. Now, this is kind of a belief that's widely held, and it's wrong. Okay, it's just flat wrong. You don't need to be a good, amazingly technical guitarist to be a guitar teacher. What's important is how well you can teach. So, if you're the most technical guitarist in the world, yet you can't explain to someone what you're doing, that doesn't make you a good guitar teacher, or that doesn't make the person you're looking at a good guitar teacher. That makes him a good guitarist. Okay, these are slightly different things. Obviously, if you want to become a really technical player, you need to search for a teacher that can do that, because they can't teach you something they can't do themselves. Okay, but overall, you're going to be looking at their teaching ability more than their playing ability. The second one is that the guitar teacher should give you lots of information about playing the guitar, just like a book. This is wrong, mainly because teaching is not about handing over lots and lots of information. It's about getting people to understand it for themselves, which is totally different. So if you were to read something in a book, or have a teacher just tell you as if it was reading in a book, just tell you straight information, you might understand it in your head, but are your hands going to understand it? Are you going to have that practical understanding to be able to play something? Are you going to understand why it is that way? Are you going to understand everything you need to understand to use that in a musical context? So a good teacher should be guiding you in the right direction to understand it yourself, not just listing off rote information. And quite often this also means teaching music alongside teaching the guitar. Number 3, this kind of follows on from that a little bit. If they're following a set course and teaching the same thing to every student, that's also bad. So if you feel like it's not being personalised to you, I mean, courses are good, okay? You can take a course and be in a class or online course, they're all good. But if you're having one-to-one personalised lessons, they should be exactly that. They should be personalised. The teacher should be teaching you, not the generic student. There are a lot of guitar teachers out there that will follow from a book or several books, and that's not necessarily bad as long as they're actually taking into account your strengths and weaknesses, teaching you what you want to play, and obviously working on your weaknesses. Number 4, if your teacher's jumping around and each lesson's completely different, and you'll jump to something really difficult one day and then you do something easier the next, and there seems to be no consistency and no flow to the lessons, then obviously they're not taking into account you and your own progression as a student. There are some exceptions. I mean, I've been asked questions by students before and obviously gone off on a little tangent answering a question, but that's not every lesson. That is, every now and again they'll ask a question and they'll go off on one and be like, oh, this is the answer to your question. But then I always bring it back and it always follows the set thing. It won't suddenly jump to doing something else the next lesson and then doing something else the next lesson, whatever I feel like teaching you that day. That's not what teaching is about. So does your teacher really care if you haven't learnt from last lesson? Because unless you're building on last lesson, there's no way to tell if you've learnt the previous stuff before he's teaching you the next stuff. Number 5, they should be giving you assignments. So for next lesson, I want you to be able to do X, because there are 2 parts to learning the guitar. First of all, lessons, what you're actually being taught, and second, probably even more important, how much you're practicing and that you're practicing the right things. You're not going to get any better, no matter how good your teacher is. If you don't practice, you're not going anywhere. Okay? It's really important. So even I've set things for my students before, even stuff like find 10 minutes a day just to do something when people are struggling to practice. Like, that's their goal for the next time. I want to know that they've done 10 minutes every day. You know, learn all your arpeggios all over the neck or practice them. We would have already have learnt them in the lesson, which is really key. So it's something to do with what you're doing in the lesson. It's not always appropriate, But if it never happens, I would start to ask questions, because it's a bit, why aren't you involved in my practicing at all? So I may have annoyed a few people there with what I've said, but if you disagree with me, comment section. You can always have your say in the comment section. If you like these lessons, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with anyone you think might find it useful. You can also support this channel by visiting my Patreon page, which is linked below. This is where you get to give a donation every month, really small donation, just helps keep the channel running. And for that you get certain bonuses and certain special content. More information on the site, I'll link it below. If you go to my website, chainsawguitartuition.net, got the right side that time, you can get more lessons like this. And until then, I'll see you next time. Something that everybody needs to keep in touch with each other, otherwise you kind of get a bit of a rambling mess at all. Now, as I talked about in my metronome video, I talked about how to use it for tread speed. Sometimes there's just not a connection between what you're doing and what the metronome is. Okay, so we're going to work on just getting that together. And what we're going to do